Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Today's session is all about the 5 reasons you're not getting any results on social media and how to fix it. I would love to know in the chat if you heard about this session from social media. We're always interested to hear how people heard about it. Email is still, for invitations like these, the #1 place that we hear people, that the conversion is the highest, right? But we'd love to know if anyone did hear about it from other social. So let us know. Okay. So just to start off, for those of you who may not be familiar with FMG, we are the only all-in-one compliant marketing solution for financial advisors. Every year we win awards, which we're so proud of, for being the #1 in advisor software surveys, as the #1 digital marketing provider, practice management solution provider for the year. And Susan and I love hearing the feedback from all of you that you love that we do sessions like this to just help you amplify your marketing and give you real world tips. So whether you're a first time person joining us or have come to many, welcome. We're so glad you're here. All right.
Wonderful.
And we just have to mention some of the things that we do, again, for anyone who's new. We offer beautiful websites that are so easy to update and will help you be found, share your marketing and your messaging. The automated campaigns, we're going to talk about some of that today, specifically the social media campaigns that we can run for you. But we also do amazing things for your email and keeping in touch with both current prospects and clients. And we have award-winning support. So if you're interested in learning more about FMG, we will give you all of the ways to get in touch with us. But that's just a little bit more about us and how we work with advisors like you. But let's
that's this. We got the housekeeping. Yes, you will get a presentation. You'll get a copy of the slides and a recording afterwards. So if you miss anything, we talk too fast, it'll all be there.
Oh, yes. And we should mention, Susan and I both run on the marketing team. Susan, you want to introduce yourself, I guess, because we do have some newbies here.
Oh, Susan Theater, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of FMG.
Yes, and I'm Samantha Russell, the Chief Evangelist. And yes, we are best friends and love working together.
Yay!
Okay, so let's just go through the 5 mistakes. And this applies to all social platforms. And then we'll dive into more platform specific. And so many of you submitted, I don't know if you saw, Susan, some amazing questions.
Yes, no, too many. Like, we could basically have made the webinar out of answering the questions. So we are going to try to thank you for everybody that submitted those. We tried to aggregate them and categorize them, and we're going to try to hit as many of them as possible.
Yeah, and we really love to go into the platform. So we're going to do that. We're going to go into LinkedIn, into Instagram, into the FMG dashboard and show you a lot, but we can't help ourselves. We love to give away slides that you can save and have for later. So just like this one today. So the first biggest mistake we see people making all the time is not knowing how to hook the audience, right? So Susan, we talk about this all the time. The hook is really that first line of your social post that someone is standing in front of. I like to think of it as a gate, and it determines whether or not they're going to open the gate and keep reading, keep scrolling, right? And so these are just some of the buckets that I like to think about when I'm crafting content is, can I ask a question? Can I play on people's curiosity? Or can I help them solve a problem in order to write that great first hook? And these are just obviously kind of templates, but you could use this for all kinds of content. The main thing you don't want to do is just say, check out my blog post.
Yeah.
Because that is not a hook. That's all about you. And it doesn't make it about them, and it doesn't intrigue them to want to keep reading.
And I think for me, I think this is the hardest part of the post and the most critical. And I don't know anybody that does a better job of it than you, Sam. It's an art, but I will say that, the AI platforms, whether it's Chat, Claude, Perplexity, whatever, it is helpful. I mean, I don't think they nail it all the time, but sometimes when I'm posting myself, I will say, this is the kind of, I want to talk about this. Give me 10 hooks that would be really interesting. What do you think? Sometimes I'll use a stat, like something really surprising that's, a stat to hook them in. But a lot of these are questions. Like, this might shock you is a great intro to a stat, right?
Yes, this might shock you. Exactly. I think the idea is the intrigue, the curiosity, and then also, people want to feel like social media is a conversation, not a monologue. So when you're saying, are you struggling with this? Or if this is the way you're going to, this will change the way you think about this, or this might shock you. It's kind of inviting that conversation to start because people will say, I think I just posted something the other day and I said, am I the only one who's just learning this? People
That's
want to then
awesome.
comment and write back. So tell us in the chat, do you struggle with writing hooks, or what is one of the biggest struggles for you with social? And maybe like a fun, tactic you could do is to go back and look at one of your more recent posts. And could you change the first line of the post to use one of these hooks? Try reposting it, tag me and Susan in it. We'd love to comment and see. And we'll see if we can get higher engagement just by changing one of these hooks. I think that would be
I actually, this slide might be one of the best. I'm seeing this for the first time. Don't tell anybody, but this is a new slide. We have never used this one before, as far as I know. This is a gold. So, I mean, I'm literally going to print this and leverage it. So everybody should do the same.
Yes. So this is interesting. Kelly said for a firm account, many of these feel too personal. And I think that's
Yes.
feedback. However, you could change a lot of the I to we, right? So instead of what if I told you, what if we told you, right? You could, and obviously you want to keep it within your firm voice. The other thing to remember is that the most engagement will come from personal pages, not business
Yeah,
pages.
I was going to say that was one of the, if we had to bucket the questions that we got pre-webinar, there were a lot around business versus personal page. So that might be an interesting segue. Just what are your thoughts on business versus personal?
Yes. So actually, this is a good chance for us to, let's escape out of here. Can you still see my whole screen here, Susan?
Yep.
Okay. So, right, if we go into FMG versus Samantha Russell's pages, of course we want to have both, right? So if somebody's searching FMG, we want them to land on this page, and you're going to see the type of content that we have down here, right? You can see all different, like our market volatility kit, which by the way, if you haven't downloaded that, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Great info there. So you can see all these different posts, and they do have a certain aesthetic. They're not just plastered pictures of certain people. They're, all different info. So here's an example of one on AEO, where it's coming from the business page, but it's using some of my tips for how to be seen more, right? And so we're using it to be more of a carousel, but it really matches our brand, our logo. It's very professional. When I did a similar post about AEO, I could write it very differently because it's coming from my page. So I'll just show you this one. So here is one that I did, and it's the difference between SEO and AEO. Forget SEO, your business is invisible without AEO. We wouldn't talk like that from the FMG account, but I can talk like that from my account. So you do need to have both. Be prepared that whoever is writing the personal post from your company or sharing those, they will always get more engagement than the firm ones.
And I think, just to elaborate a little bit more, to be more prescriptive, if you struggle with just having the time and resources to do both, the personal page, you have to have, you need to have that business profile, but you should spend more of your time on the personal page. You should be posting on the personal page, and part of your business page strategy can be sharing what you post on your personal page with just a little bit of an intro to it. So, and you could do the same where you share something that's on your business page on your personal, but I think if we had to give them, if you don't have time to do both super well, really focus on that personal page and then share those things on your business page.
Great point. Yeah, because you can always, again, right? You can, from the company page, reshare or repost anybody else's content. All right, keep the questions coming. I love it. You guys are awesome. All right, the second mistake is really, we call it the 80-20 rule, but really what it's all about is engagement. So you can work with a firm like FMG, you can outsource to an individual person and have them, create all kinds of content for you. We think it's much better to hire us and, much more economical, but we can create the very best content in the world for you. But it will only go so far if you do not engage with other accounts. And this is the thing, is that this is the part that you can't really outsource to another company, another person outside your business. You could have someone internally on your team that really knows the business, knows who those, primary connections are. But really, for every one thing you're posting, so if you're posting once a day, then you need to be engaging, leaving comments on 5 other people's posts. And I have heard over the years, as we've taught this, Susan, from so many people who said, I just wasn't growing, I wasn't seeing any results, and I started doing this, and this was the game-changing thing.
Yeah, totally. And this was one of the questions, this relates to one of the questions we got from a lot of people, which is, how do I get my posts seen by more people? And it won't be seen by more people unless you are connected to more people. And also the algorithm is looking to see whether you are engaging. And I love the tip that you give where if you engage with, let's say, 5 people in the 30 minutes prior to posting, it will boost your post much more than if you just come in cold and post it. Sometimes I need to remember that one, but it really is this, success is completely dependent upon, yes, your content, but B, growing your network. And we'll talk about making connections, which was another common question, but also engaging, being part of the conversation on the platform.
I love that. And actually, you might not know, but on LinkedIn, they specifically make it easy. We'll talk about Instagram and some of the other platforms too. But if you go to your page and under here, under analytics, if you click show all analytics, I'm doing bad. I just got back from Ireland and I have been out, out of the
Oh
loop.
yeah, terrible.
But you can see under the
52,000 post
weekly,
impressions.
but
Damn
look at
it.
the weekly sharing tracker. I love this. So it will tell you how many posts you've done and how many comments. So you can see your ratio here. So I normally have like 50 comments and 3 posts.
So
I
go
really,
back and show the click path to getting to that again.
oh, sure. Okay. So you're just going to go to your own
Profile.
LinkedIn page. And then here under this analytics section, you're going to click show all analytics. And that is going to give you this little tracker.
So there's your report card. 1 post,
Yep.
3 comments. Sam's getting an 80.
I am getting an F today, but I bet you by the end of the day, I'll be back to my A plus, everyone. So
We have a question whether you could delegate this to an assistant or somebody else. And have we ever heard of that? And I think absolutely to some degree, right?
I think the main thing is that person needs to be embedded in the business enough to know what to look for. So one of our tips is you don't want to just be commenting on just any old person, right? So we could go into my feed here and I could leave a comment on Derek's and that's great. But I really, let's say I am a financial advisor and I want to work with more physicians, right? I want to specifically maybe work with physicians at the Mayo Clinic. It's going to be a lot better for me to come in and look at the Mayo Clinic, look at who works there, right? So we can see the people that are working at this place. I can even look at my connections that already work there. And I can see all the people I'm connected to that work at the clinic and go and leave comments on their posts because they're going to be connected with those doctors and physicians I want to connect with. So I think as long as that person that you're delegating it to can be strategic about who they're choosing to interact with, it can 100% be outsourced.
And I think one thing you just did here that I don't think most people do is you're seeking out who to comment on. You're not just looking in your feed and saying, oh, Derek posted again. You're already super connected with Derek and that's all good, but that's not going to grow your business. It's actually having an intentional strategy around who you want to grow your network with. We also talk about advisors that have grown their network with other advisors. So their
Yes.
followers are all their peers, that they see at their, broker dealer conference or at an industry conference. That's not going to help you. It's because that's happened unintentionally, but
Yes.
taking time to think about where do I want to grow my connections and then going into LinkedIn and finding those people and then commenting on them. It might feel kind of uncomfortable because you don't even know them. They might be second connections, but we just need you to trust that you can literally become friends with somebody
Yep.
just by commenting on their posts a couple times. They will feel like they know you. You send them a message in LinkedIn and you'll have a meeting.
So just to kind of show that strategy in action, Alan Smith is become a friend of mine through LinkedIn. He's based in London. And so when I was thinking, okay, I'm coming to London, I want to connect with a lot more financial advisors in London. If I just come here to his connections, I can click on that and I can filter and say, I only want to see his second degree connections. I don't want to see anybody that's first degree with me because I'm already connected with them. I only want to look at his connections that are my second degree. And then I can start looking and saying, okay, who are some of these folks? Click on their picture, look at what they do. And then I can look at some of their most recent posts and go in and leave a comment, right? So now if Richard sees that I leave a comment, he's going to say, who's Samantha Russell? Oh, we're both, she's connected with Alan Smith.
Mhm.
And you start to create all these thread lines, right? You don't
Yes.
want your comment to be a sales pitch. It should be adding to the conversation, but that is really how you grow your network strategically.
Yeah. And not everybody. So let's say you take your top 10 ideal clients, and you click on their profile, you see the shared connections, you go through, you look at some of their second connections. There's probably a good chance that 50% or more don't even post. So you've also
Correct.
got to find the ones that are posting. It takes a little bit of hunting, but it pays off big time. I mean, it would take you, I bet, like 2 or 3 comment, like let's say they're posting every other week or something. If you comment on 3 of their posts and then message them, I would bet that they would take a call.
So, like for instance, this gentleman, Sterling, I've never met him, I don't know him, but Susan and I just went to a Barron's event in Florida. So I could say, sounds like a great panel. I just attended at a Barron's event for the first time myself, and it was such a great event. Can't wait to hear how it goes, right? Something very simple, but yet making those connections.
Yep.
And so that's how to do it strategically.
Got a quick question if Facebook is very different, which I would say yes, it is.
Yes, it 100% is. I mean, the thing about LinkedIn that makes it so uniquely suited for this particular type of activity is the filtering by job title, description, location. Within Facebook, you can certainly search for all financial advisors and even financial advisors in a specific area, but you'll find a lot more business pages than personal pages
But they
there.
wouldn't be searching for financial advisors. It'd be, like, I don't know that I don't think they're that analogous. And I think it might be worth us, we could, put a pin in it. Maybe we do a webinar on Facebook because we do tons on LinkedIn, but there
Yes.
is definitely a strategy on
I
Facebook.
have some slides in here today. I'm hopeful we'll get to them at the end about utilizing. I think Facebook is so great if you're tapping into your local community. So I have some info on how to
Groups.
do that specifically.
Yes,
Not as good if you are niching down across the country.
totally.
So, okay.
Yeah,
Unless
and
some other
it's
things
much
have,
harder to talk business on Facebook.
I think it can be. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, let's keep going through these mistakes. You guys have amazing questions and feedback. So the third one is that you don't use the what's in it for me mindset when deciding what to post. So really you want to constantly ask yourself, why should someone care about this, right? If you're targeting young families and you're posting a bunch of social security content, well, that is a long way off in the distant topic for them, and they are just not going to care at the moment, right? This is a great example of one that I do think, like, we work with a ton of obviously financial advisors, insurance professionals, people that are trying to grow, and email is a big one. And so one simple change that can double your email open rate, that is something people want to know. Okay, what's the tip, right? So if there's something that you can share that is that people scrolling are going to stop and say, yes, this is interesting to me. And so you need to know your audience. In our FMG library, which I'm going to show you in a minute, we have so many different types of content that you can pick and choose depending on your audience. But it's really crucial that you know your audience and what they will particularly be interested in so that you can choose those right pieces for them.
You know what I'm just thinking? I just remembered it is small because we have some people commenting on it. I really want to market in my community. Small Business Week is, I think, the first week in May. Let me get the dates up, but that is something that could give you an opportunity to like reach out, like find the small business owners in your community or small businesses, find the people. So you could look up the company, then you could look up the people and, play off Small Business Week and create connections. And, these people could be people you do events with if they have a company that does something that plays into either hosting an event or being a thought leader, center of
Actually,
influence,
there's an
things like that.
advisor that I know, I can't think of who it is off the top of my head, but they do a thing where every Friday on Facebook, they round up what's happening in the local community and they make like a little image in Canva, like 5 free things happening this weekend, and then they tag the local businesses, and that always performs so well for them, for
Yeah.
sure.
And that's a lot of work, but you could do that every month. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many ideas, but
Yeah. So just to point out that when you come in to the library, you can search by different keywords and find, so many different types of posts. So this is one, retirement strategies for small business owners. It's a sequence. So excuse me, every so often, you can see like delay 5 days, a new image will come up. The images are already created for you. You can go in and add your own logo, because we have an integration with Canva, or you can leave it as is. It's really up to you. But so depending on what it is that you're looking for, you can search the content library for those different keywords, again, to be hyper specific for your audience. Okay.
There's a quick question, like, should I don't even know if you can unconnect. I haven't never done that, but should you disconnect with other financial advisors if that's how if a lot of your connections are, and I don't think so. Just try to build from there.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because remember what the algorithm is doing, it's constantly looking at your own activity. So right now, I am getting a ton of activity of people who live in the UK because I have been strategic about connecting with people there. If you all of a sudden really start focusing on, talking with all of the small business owners in Philadelphia, you're going to get a ton of content in your feed from those folks, and they're going to see your content. So it's really all based off your actions, not your connections. Because think of it, like I have 44,000 followers, right? So of those 44,000, LinkedIn has no idea whose stuff to show me and what to show, like who they show my stuff to, right? So it's constantly looking at what am I interested in and what am I taking time to dwell on and leave comments on. That's the indicators it's paying attention to. So you do not need to disconnect from people. You just need to tell the algorithm what you're interested in by, searching for those things and commenting on those folks.
Oh, also, one of the tips I know you've given that I think is great is when right after somebody accepts your connection request is the highest chance that they're going to see your content in the next couple days. So if you have like a good post that you're excited to post, you're like, oh, this is a good one. Make sure that you send out connection requests to some, whatever your top target audience is. And that, is almost like increasing your odds exponentially that they will see that content. Obviously, not everybody's in LinkedIn every day accepting connection requests, but you might want to think about that the next time you've got a good one.
This is such a good point. So all the folks here who are listening in, hello, you're sending me connection requests. If I go in and accept all of these, the next thing I post, you're almost guaranteed it will be in your feed. So
we're getting questions if the FMG library is available to all. So if you are a customer of FMG, we have 3 tiers. There's our essential marketing, our premium marketing, and then our do it for me. There is an option where we do it for you. And each of those has its own, so the essential is library A, premium adds more to it, and then DIFM adds more to it.
Yep. And if you're not sure which one you're in, you can reach out and we'll help you.
Yeah.
For sure. Sorry, I didn't understand the question. If they meant like everyone on the call. Yeah, got it. Okay, let's keep going. So another mistake, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. You've probably heard this before and we've talked about it, but I just was at this conference, like I mentioned, in Ireland, and someone said, I agree with everything you say except for one thing. I don't believe personal posts belong on LinkedIn. And I said that, thank you for your opinion. And I totally understand. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But just know that just because it's your opinion and you don't feel comfortable with it, doesn't mean it's correct.
So Sam, when you look at all your posts, which ones have performed the best?
And when I look at all the advisors we talk to and work with, consistently, hands down, if you figure out a way to incorporate personal details into your posts, those ones will perform best. It's not an opinion.
Personal photos. Personal photos. What I love is, for Do It For Me, Sam and I actually map out the content calendar for the month and we write the social posts. We expect and hope that the advisor will tweak it just a little bit, but especially we want them to tweak the picture. And our most successful advisors are finding a way, like let's say it's a post about graduation. Even if they don't have a child that's graduating, they find a picture from the past. Like if they had a child graduate from, high school 5 years ago, they still use that. And then the post gets so much more engagement. So you can be creative. And again, you could ask AI, like, I want to post about this and use a personal picture. Give me some ideas of pictures that could work. Because it can be metaphoric too.
I was just going to say, so for instance, here's our Do It For Me calendar. So again, this program is we're looking at what if we were running a financial planning business, what would we send out to clients and prospects, the blog posts we would add, the social media posts we would share, and the emails that we would send. And we map it all out, and you're paired with the concierge who will execute it for you. But
Oh, you
to
know
me,
what? 'Cause somebody just said my best posts have been nothing to do with business or business market. You'll see it, and you could show some of these, like the one you just hovered over. Like I particularly look for things that are tangentially related to
Mhm.
financial. So like there's this one in this calendar. I think there's also one about, buy or rent a second home. I think there's one I talked about maximizing points, because Sam and I are like, Sam's taught me so much
Obsessed.
about how to leverage frequent flyer points and things like that. But things that are on the minds of your clients that, relate to their well-being broadly and,
Yeah. Well, and
identity theft, etc.
And what I was going to say is, so for something like this, here's a great example, right? This is how my marketer brain works. You could share a picture of your family and say, here's how much Americans think they need to be rich, talk all about it at the end and say, but you know what? I'm already the richest person alive because of these three people,
Children, yeah.
and it can be so, it does not need to be related even to the thing at hand. Now, if you don't want to share personal photos of your family, that's okay. It could be a picture of you running a marathon, and you could be talking about saving for, retirement and how it's a long game and it's not there's so many
Totally. What
analogies.
about the guy that was at a baseball game with his son and he used it to talk about how he just won an award?
Yes,
Like,
exactly. Exactly. This one here, Emily's talking about how do you feel, she's talking about like delayed gratification and just the idea of when you pay things off and like money goals. And so she's got a picture of her kid because they went to Disney and it's a big expense. So again, we're not going to harp on it too much, but just know that the more you can incorporate that personal storytelling, personal photos into your social media, the more connections you will make, the more people will remember you, and the more it will work because that's what we're looking for online.
and for those that like a formula, not that everything is formulaic, but when we write different, our do it for me posts, I'm thinking generally about, 30% financial planning topics, 30% sort of tangential, relate to financial, but more human interest. And then, 30%, it's National Pet Month and add a picture of your pet.
Love it. I love it. And this is sort of
Oh, there
our,
it is.
yeah, playbook here. I just skipped ahead to that one. And whenever you can ask a question to get the comments going, that's also a really good tip to, get people to start engaging and make it just a little bit easier for them to reply and to get those comments going, because comments really are the currency on all these social media platforms. I think we skipped though mistake number 5. I just want to go back to that really fast, which is you're not knowing which platform or strategies to use to target your audience. So I just listed out
That's a good
3
one.
here because they're the most often used for the advisors we work with. So LinkedIn, we talk about a lot. It really is great for mass affluent, high net worth, anyone who is actively working and not retired, right? Or still in high school, everybody in between. So it's great for a massive swath of the population. Instagram is really great for 25 to now up to 55-year-olds,
Woo!
especially women and the mass affluent. So they're seeing adoption of older generations by every month getting higher and higher, especially as grandparents join because their children are posting photos of their babies and not posting them over to Facebook like they used to. So they're joining there. This is an example of a post that works really well on Instagram that I would not post anywhere else, right? So Instagram has its own flavor, a little bit more cheeky, I would say, than you could
Yeah.
be other places.
We got a couple questions I think are worth answering.
Okay.
YouTube, I'm just going to run them out and we can just go in different order. What about YouTube? Do we have anything that supports Canada? And then another about, the call to action buttons in a post, which I think we want to steer people. I'll start with that one. Click here for a financial plan in a post is too salesy. That's too what's in it for you.
Right.
The question that Sam's suggesting you ask is about the post. Like, what do you think about the post? What's your favorite, type of ice cream, or what do you think about this new legislation that's impacting, the Secure Act? It's not the place where you're asking for a meeting or to do a financial plan. That's further down the funnel when you get them to your website. and ways to convert there. So that's that. But YouTube and Canada, what do you think?
Okay, yes. And I just put an example here of like how you could ask a question to get the comments going. Um, so with YouTube, I'm a massive fan of YouTube. I think video is just amazing for so many different reasons. One of them being that you can constantly, let someone hear your face,
Hear your face?
hear your face, hear your voice. Oh my Lord. See your face. And it kind of breaks through that wall. I do get that not every firm feels comfortable making video. But if you do have someone that can make video, you can repurpose in so many places, right? So actually, I'll just skip ahead and show a slide, but you could have one video and you post it to YouTube Shorts, to Instagram Reels, to LinkedIn. So, video, if you're already making video, I guess the way I would answer the question is if you're already making video, it would be a criminal not to be posting it to YouTube as well. Like you're already doing it, go ahead and add
Totally.
it. Okay.
Criminal.
What about, Canada?
Does
So
FMG provide real content?
we do.
You
I can show you
do.
some. I'm
That's
very clear.
new.
Yes, it is new.
Breaking news.
Here's just I could not get when I was trying to make this slideshow this to work, where I could get the GIF in here, but this is
Yeah.
just a still from this video. So I will show you how to do it, but we do provide these already done for you videos that look amazing that again, you can edit in Canva if you want. So if you wanted this to not be B-roll of other people, you wanted it to be your face talking, you could create the video, add it in here. If you wanted it to be, add your logo to the bottom. This has a voiceover of somebody that we've hired to do a voiceover for the reel. But if you wanted to make it your voice, we give you the script so that you could record it. And I don't know if any of you have ever made a video on LinkedIn, I'm sorry, in Instagram. It's so easy. You hit the microphone record button, you hold the phone up to your mouth and you say it. It's very easy to do. And so we have all the instructions to make this happen. I will say for a lot of you, you want to go through the instructions. If you've never done it before, it's not as
It's not, 1, 2, 3. But
it's not as simple as just pulling up your phone and recording it, right? Because we're adding it to the reel we've already made. But if you wanted to post this reel as is, it's professional looking, it's already completely done. It's beautiful. You could just add your logo. You don't need to put your face on this. But let me
which
just
again, doing something is way better than doing nothing. So I hear some
100%.
advisors are like, oh, I can't get it perfect, so I'm not doing it. But so you're not doing anything. And I just can't encourage you enough. Just being out there is so much better. And then as you do it, you will start engaging more and actually probably feeling better about doing it more and customizing it. But don't let perfection get in the way of action. And one other quick little question that I think might be kind of nagging at a lot of people is I'm nervous about negative comments. And obviously you can't guarantee anything. That's like you can't use that word in our industry, but I don't think, I would bet you that you will never get a negative comment. I've never, if anything, everybody's kind of fake and saying positive, flowy things, but don't worry. Again, don't not do it because you're worried somebody would say something negative. I think people, if they don't have something nice to say, don't say anything.
And if they do, like, who cares? Like, do you care about their opinion? I mean,
Yes,
people who are
yes.
going to say the negative comments are not going to be your clients or prospects that you actually want, that you work with already or want to work with. I mean,
Oh no, debunk the fear. If you ever seen somebody do a negative, if you ask something controversial or you get into politics, then you're opening the door for that. I wouldn't go there. But if you're sharing valuable tips about something, nobody is going to go into.
I mean, I've gotten people who've said, like, I remember one time I posted something and someone wrote, you should fix your teeth before you record another video. Like, just something horrible. But somebody I don't know, who cares what they think? And, have you ever heard that saying where it's like, don't take advice from someone or don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from? Just keep that in the back of your mind. People who can't do, comment. So
Yes.
you're not doing it, they'll leave comments. But anyways, here's where you can find all of those reels and the Instagram content, just in case anyone's looking. And we do, of course, have reels, but Instagram is just a visual platform in general. So we also will give you things like these awesome Social Security images, right? They're made again in Canva. You can scroll through and look through all of them.
And
So
I like these like better than the videos to some degree, unless you will take the time to customize. I think they're both good, but this just looks like super professional. You don't have to worry about it's not your voice, that kind of thing.
yes. So I think the idea, though, in general, is that we've got so much different content in this library, whether you want to be prioritizing LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, if you want it to be video, if you want it to be image based. Current events, obviously, is such a big one. I mean, I know with all of you out there communicating with clients one on one, being able to send things out or have social posts about what's happening with the market volatility, these have been seeing so much use across the board from advisors because we've done it for, we've created it for you. So you can get these posted, you can get the emails sent out without needing to rush to figure it all out and deal with those conversations. But even things tapping into, the pop culture, like the price of eggs, right? So we have like a social post here a lot of people loved about egg prices finally falling. And so these are the kinds of things that we're constantly adding to the library so that you can use. I think maybe right now we should put up the poll because we're going to click out of the FMG library and ask if anyone wants to learn more specifically about FMG and how we can support your marketing across all the different social platforms and help you run more social campaigns, whether you want to learn more about our Do It For Me program or just the content we have in the dashboard in the different tiers. We would love to talk with you, but you can just answer this poll question and we'll know whether to prioritize reaching out.
Oh, does daytime when you post matter?
Yes, it does. It varies per, platform, per person. I have found for me, for instance, that because I'm targeting financial advisors, it really works best Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and usually early in the morning before people are really starting their day. But I just posted something on a Sunday in the middle of the day and it got 38,000 impressions. So you got to try out different things. Okay.
And remember, it's
Oh,
going to get more if you engage in the platform before you post.
I'm sorry.
And remember to engage in the platform, like go
Oh.
look up those connections that you want to connect with and comment on their stuff, or even just comment on your feed before you post.
And I was just going to say, somebody just mentioned, I was trying to find on Instagram, I know on LinkedIn, they will tell you in the platform in your analytics when your audience is most active. And you can look at that
How do you
to
see
help.
that? Are you able to find
I
that?
was just saying, I'm trying to, I know how to find it in the app. I don't know if I can show it on the dashboard. This is Instagram, which, if anybody knows, tell us in the chat so we can show you all. There is a way to do it. I'll have to play around with it.
We'll figure it out and we'll do a post on it.
That's great. I love it. Go into Meta Planner via Facebook. Okay, that's for Instagram. Okay, let's keep going though, because we have so many other great tips. So we talked about the type of content playbook and kind of the mix. We talked about the engagement and what you should do. This is just a little bit more detailed on that. But just remember, if you have no network, no one will see your content. So when it comes to growing your network, here's some tips that we suggest. This again is specific for LinkedIn. We'll talk about the other platforms as well. This is a new feature that Susan and I have been sharing with people that everyone seems to love. If you go into LinkedIn and you go into the search bar and you hover over your QR code at the top there, it will give you a QR code that you can just make the screensaver on the background of your phone, or you can pull up at a conference and show people and connect with them that way rather than having to do business cards. And everyone loves this. Every time I share it, it does make connecting with people so much more seamless. But a tip that we give is that if you want to add really thousands of more people to your network, so you have so many more eyeballs on your content this year, every Friday, go through the last 5 days of your calendar and emails and just copy who you've met with, who you've emailed with, who you've talked to, and send them a connection request. And Susan, I think we had a question about how to format those
Oh,
requests.
yes, totally. That was actually like to me a little bit surprising, but maybe the most frequently asked. What do you say in the little message for the connection request?
So you might all be shocked to hear this, but I don't put a note unless I really like. So let's say I just had a meeting with Kirsten. I might say, "Great to meet you Friday." That's it. But if it's somebody that I'm not yet connected to and I've never met them, never emailed with them, and I'm just hoping to connect with them so they can start seeing my content, I don't put a note at all. And I find that I get about a 70 to 85% acceptance rate that way versus if I add a note. because I
I
think in the note sometimes appears salesy.
salesy, totally. So it's easy. There is no I mean, there's no shame in just sending the connection request without a note.
Yeah,
Sam and
what's the worst that can happen? They say no,
yeah,
or they don't accept you, I should say. Okay,
they don't accept you. Don't take it personally. Half the time they're just not in LinkedIn.
you know what? You're right. A lot of people, they're not logging in every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have other questions we want to get to before we so now we're going to just talk about the playbook content for Instagram specifically. I would love to know, maybe tell us in the chat, because again, we're always cautious how many people are actually even using Instagram, or is this something you want to use going forward or you're hoping to use? We have so many tips and ideas we could share with you all, but we want it to be helpful. We want it to be something that you're actually focused on. So we can talk about Instagram. We can skip over to Facebook. Let us know maybe in the chat or the Q&A.
I've
With
already seen like earlier, it's not approved at LPL, for example. We
okay.
work with a lot of LPL advisors. I think there's a lot of interest and just, some people have a green light and some not.
Some don't. Okay. So with Instagram, it's very similar in the sense that you want to have a content mix, but one of the posts, again, yes, should show off your expertise. There's a difference between a post and a story. So again, I'm just going to pull up. I don't use Instagram. I haven't historically used it for speaking to financial advisors, but I have a little Instagram travel account, and I've learned a lot about Instagram through this. So a post and a reel, or I'm sorry, you have posts. There's two kinds of posts. You can have a post that's pictures, which is like carousels or photos, or you can have reels, which are videos, right? So reels really help you go viral, pick up new followers, and the carousels, which would be like this one that you can click through, these ones are much better for just engaging with the followers you already have. So you want to have a mix of both these type of click through as well as reels that are the videos. So you want
Looks
to do,
like it takes a lot of time.
well, that's why using the FMG Instagram content is huge, because we've made it look beautiful for you. So you can choose these different collections, and we've already gone into Canva, made the images, downloaded everything. So you do not need to go in and spend all that time creating it. They're already done for you.
Why don't you see, like, when you download that, what does it look like? Or is that
Oh,
too much time?
I think I've already downloaded
Oh, did
them.
we already do that one? Okay.
No, that's okay. Here's an example of what one of them would look like. So they've got the big bold image, and then you would put it on, your page as you want. Here's another example, right? So again, it can still be text. It doesn't have to be imagery,
Hmm.
but it needs to be text
Designed.
is designed up a little bit,
Yeah.
right? To look a certain way. This is a couple examples of the reels. As I mentioned, the reels will grow your audience. Carousels really connect you with the audience have. And then I didn't talk about this yet, but stories. You know what a story is, Susan?
Vaguely, but I'm above the age that you had for Instagram target audience. So those old people, I'm like above the old people.
Okay, so the stories are, if you were to click on this person's picture, what comes up here. So this is like my son playing a game. So the stories only last for 24 hours, and they live in your little profile here. Now you can add any of those to these highlight bubbles, but they are not going to live on your grid here. So that's stories.
Oh,
And what's great about stories is they really make it easy to engage with your audience, because you can ask questions, you can poll people. So it's just a fantastic way to do it. I
if
did
you
put
are an
up
advisor just getting started, which would you focus on?
If I was an advisor just getting started, I would go into the FMG content library, and I would use our already done for you reels and carousels that are highly designed. They look
Sounds
beautiful.
good to me.
Yep, I would post those to my profile page, and then I would in stories, to make a story, all you do is pull up your phone, you put the camera facing towards you, and you can talk at it. So you can say, "Hey everybody, I just posted a reel about the best time to claim Social Security. I wanted to put up a question box in case anyone has any questions." So you can use all of our really beautifully designed content, and then you can just show your face up in the stories for the engaging part.
We did get a question if the Instagram content is part of premium or just do it for me. It is part of premium and do it for me.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. And we have scripts, all
If
kinds
you
of
cannot
info.
use stories or comments due to compliance reasons, I think you just stick with the reels.
Yep, stick with what you can. Again, and if somebody's looking for your business, they're still going to find your business page and see it looking beautiful. Okay. I think the next thing we wanted to do was we had some people submit their profiles
Oh,
for
I
review.
love this part.
And if you are interested in having us take a look, go ahead and put your profile in the chat and we'll get to as many as we can. But we just wanted to pull up a couple people. Thank you for the guinea pigs who submitted and share some of the things that we would suggest potentially changing. So when you're looking at a LinkedIn profile specifically, one of the things that I always suggest is nailing right off the bat the first thing that people see at the top. So I'm not exactly sure what Joe's got depicting here. It's kind of like a fun image of him talking to the founding fathers, it looks like. Um, but it doesn't tell us much about who he is, what he does, how he helps people, right? So instead, I would use this. You can go into Canva, and there they have free. We'll put a link in the follow-up email to everyone. But they have free templates that you can use where you can like create a background that's specific to you. So, right, if you go to mine, it shows you marketing strategies to grow your advisory firm. What do you have, Susan? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you have FMG, I think, at the background.
I have FMG.
Yeah, our expertise is showing off yours, FMG. So I really think using, yeah, your slogan, your company name or logo, just again to reiterate who you are, what you do, who you do it for, is what you want to do with that background banner there. And again, we'll send you the link to do it for free in Canva. I like that though he has this little about section where he's saying his experience, what he does. The thing I don't like, Susan, and you can tell me if you agree, is that it's written in third person
Yeah, I
versus.
was gonna say this is the easiest thing. I think if you take one thing away from today's webinar that is super easy to implement, is change your about to be in the first person if it's not already.
Yeah, you're not dead, so let's not write it like an obituary.
Exactly.
Okay, so and then the other thing is he doesn't have any featured posts. So, right, if you go into your profile, there's this like featured section you can do, which you can highlight some of your best content, your best posts. You can put a link to your website there. It's really a place for you to showcase what you're all about. So you would want to turn that on, Joe, and add some things to your featured section. Okay, another one, another Joe, H Joe. What do we think about this one, Susan? What feedback do you got?
I love the headline, helping our clients build tax-free wealth. I think this is this is interesting because I was looking at both of our headlines and they're not so much like what's in it for them. It's more, highlight reel of us. So almost questioning whether I should change mine, but I really love this. This is, I think, a great opportunity. Another thing, if you're going to do one more thing that's low hanging fruit, it's thinking about what do you do for people and putting it in here? What is the benefit of working with you? What is that thing that when your clients tell you they're so thrilled they have you because you've helped with blankety blank, that's great to put there in a headline.
I agree. I've played with my headline so many times and changed it. And I right now do have it more like a highlight reel. And I think, telling people exactly who you help and what you help them do is a great strategy. And I like that he's got.
Especially for financial advisors. Like I like this for financial advisors better than, a big flashy title and a bunch of acronyms.
Yeah. So he's got his about written in first person. Congrats. You're following along. I love it. And again, there's nothing in the featured section here. So I would 100% add something in the featured section here if you
Want to
can't.
show how easy it is to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you come in here to your profile, you see where it says add profile section. I'm going to click that. And there's all the different sections that you can add here. And under recommended, you're going to click add featured. And once you do that, mine's already turned on. This little section will pop up and you can decide what you want to feature. So again, it does not need to be a post you've already done. You could add a link to an article you contributed to the Wall Street Journal. You could add pictures of your family. You can add a link to your website. It can really be anything you want. And then
Do you recommend one or the other, or
I recommend featuring things that when your target client or person that you want to hire you is going to land on there, they're going to say, yes, this person helps people just like
Yeah.
me. So any kind of content but if you don't have anything yet, like I said, you could go in for right now, put a link to your website, maybe a podcast you were on that you loved the way the interview went, things like that. Okay. So we have so many people that put their LinkedIns in. So I'm just going to click maybe a few more. And Susan, do you want to tell me if there's questions you saw that we should answer?
Right now, the entire feed is LinkedIn links. We did,
Okay.
so the last question is what's better, a post or newsletter? So I think you just got that one.
Okay. So Valerie, how do you say this name? Valerian? I hope I'm saying it right.
Valerian?
Valerian? The beautiful. I love it. It's
It
so
is
different.
beautiful. I love that.
Wealth on your terms, success without limits.
A plus.
That's awesome. The
Awesome.
solopreneur CFO, financial planner, champion of women and wealth. Oh, look at this. I love this. She has free resources,
Oh,
link in bio. So we didn't talk about this yet. So thank you for sharing. You can add, again, these different calls to action to your page. So if we click on it,
and that gets back to the person that asked, in a post, and maybe I misunderstood the question, but this is like, once you post something really interesting, somebody is likely going to click on your profile, and then that's where the call to action can come.
Exactly. So again, I can show you all where to add this, but this is what she's suggesting people do. And she's using a tool called My Flow Desk to do this. So there's Linktree, there's My Flow Desk, there's different tools. And basically it's like a landing page between your profile and where you want people to go. So you can see from here, you can get all different kind of calls to action. So she could say, do you want to go visit my website? Do you want to download this guide? So it's just a landing page between your website, your podcast, all the different things people might
I've
go.
never seen this before. This is advanced. Very well done.
She's doing A++ job. So if you want to know where to add this, again,
A
if
lot
you
of people will just, take it to their website where there's schedule a meeting page. You don't have to. I'd say that's 201, 301, but very, very cool.
let me just find where that one is. I think I have right here. There we go. Yeah. So, okay, on your profile page, if you want to add that, you see this little pen up here. You're going to click on that and keep going down. Under the custom buttons, you can add a custom button or, again, a link to your website. You could even link right to your Calendly and just say, book a meeting, schedule a meeting with me. Okay. Should we do one more? We're like almost at the top of time here.
We'll do, quickly.
Okay, we'll do one more. Let me just scroll through and find somebody. Alexandria. Oh, nope, this is Chris. Okay. Oh, she was posting for Chris. So Chris has got his profile, insurance agent, financial advisor. So again, you could update that title to be more specific to who do you help or how do you help them. And then the same thing with the banner image, right? It's just black. So putting something in there that's specific to your business, your logo, what you're helping people with would make a great first impression.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. I think that's all the ones we have time to review. Let's go back to our slide deck here. There's a lot we did not get to. I think we were being overconfident in what we could. I would be remiss, though, if I don't mention this. With all the talk of AI, we have an amazing mobile app that so many advisors tell me they've never heard of who are using FMG. If you are an FMG customer, this is free for you to use. So make sure you go into the App Store and download it. And we have this AI powered tool where it will write the social captions for you. We've trained it on how to do it using our methodology. And so this is free for all FMG customers. So make sure you download
Use your same login credentials. We usually get that question. And I'm just going to dangle this out there. In the next few months, I probably should hedge that. Very, very soon, we'll be rolling it out for email and blogs as well.
You broke the news. You heard it here first, everyone. We are so excited. If you're excited, tell us in the chat. Give us some good emojis because this is going to be game changing. You're going to be able to use the AI tool to get that first draft on all of those content pieces that you're putting out. But again, If you're interested in learning more about working with our team, about our Do It For Me program, or just about FMG in general, we would love to work with you with our Do It For Me program. We really take all the heavy lifting off your plate, and you're paired with someone from our team who will really execute for you. Or if you just want to book a consultation and learn more about, what your current marketing looks like and how we can help make it better, you can do that as well. So thank you all so, so much. I hope you all learned a few things that you can take and implement. Thank you, Susan, for always asking the best questions
Oh,
and being my favorite partner for these. And I hope everyone just has a great rest of the week.
absolutely. Bye, everybody.